Welcome to the Veteran Hour. I'm your host, Levi Miller, and your other host is Thomas Lukin. Right, Thomas?
Yes, sir. You got it right.
I got it right. Thomas.
You've been good before.
Yeah. Well, Thomas, we got two great guests. Can you bring them on?
Yes. We have Alfredo Garcia and Mark Heathco. Both are also DMZ veterans like me and Levi. Mark is the author of two great books. The first one's Call Sign Purple 3. The second one is DEFCON 4. And Mark is working on his third one. I don't think he has a title yet. He could discuss that in a little bit. But Alfredo is also working in heart with Mark at producing a movie based on Book 2, DEFCON 4. So I'd like to welcome Mark and Alfredo to the show. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mark, could you tell us something about yourself? Tell our listeners.
My name is Mark Heathco, and I served in Korea from 78 to 91. I was up on the DMZ a lot. I had 385 patrols. I wrote two books, Call Sign Purple 3 and DEFCON 4, about my experiences up there. I served up on the Z from 78 to 86. And then from 86 to 91, I worked at the 3rd Brigade Tactical Operations Center, which received all the reports, well, all the good reports from the DMZ about unidentified personnel incidents.
Okay.
And I left there in 91. I went to the G2 at the tail end of 91. I worked for the G2 and the G3, and then I left. I came back to the States.
Okay. Well, Garcia?
Yes, sir.
Could you tell the listeners, something about you?
My name is Alfredo Garcia. I was stationed on the DMZ in Korea, 1979. Camp Greaves. Did a tour, just a year there. Did a couple of patrols there. Also, my first duty station was stateside, was Fort Carson, Colorado. And being sent to Korea was a more educational and life-changing event for myself, because Korea is a real world of danger. And being a young man, you learn how to survive by developing those fighter instincts.
Right.
When the hairs in the back of your head go up, something's not right.
That's right. You're right. Well, Mark, I know you have a couple of books out. Could you tell us something about your book? We get a little detail.
Yeah, Call Sign Purple 3 is about it's about how you gear up and get ready to go out on patrol, and then the tail end of the story is about being actually out on the inside the DMZ. And DEFCON 4 is just a continuation, a little spur off of Call Sign Purple 3. Some of the characters, some different characters in it, but there's more eventful events that are in that book that are reminiscent to what happened to me up on the Z. Some are true, some are false. It's a fiction book, but you guys that have been up on the Z, you'll be able to tell what's fake and what's real.
Oh, yes.
I'm not afraid of that, so that's why I wrote the book. So it's just to get you guys. I want to jar your memories and put you back in the Z again. That's the reason for them two books. They're both good books. I wish everybody would buy them. I hope they buy them. And it's to get the word out also, but it's actually to get you guys, to jar your memory, to get you guys in the mood. It's like going back home.
Yes.
When you go back home, you get in the mood. When you're away, you're anxious to get there. That's why I want people to read my books, to be anxious to read them.
I've seen the found that when I read it. I think Levi mentioned it before too, and Alfredo, is when you read, because book 1, the Call Sign Purple 3, is actually nonfiction. Mark based it off his journals he kept secretly. Oh, did I say that? From his tours up in the DMZ, because what a lot of people don't realize, when we were up in the DMZ to start with, technically we weren't supposed to take pictures. A lot of that stuff was supposed to be, basically what happened on the Z, stay on the Z, and Because for many of us, and I've seen other guys that came on, from PCSC, going back in the States, is you don't hear much about the DMZ except up on patrol. You talk to other people, yeah, I was up on patrol, and that was it. You never hear the details. And what Mark has done in his first book has gone with so much detail there that it just brings you back to everything happening, and stuff I forgot when I read the book. It's like, yeah, I remember doing that. I haven't thought about it in, about 27, 28 years now. And so, but no, the book one is a nonfiction book for everybody's knowledge. Yeah, book two is fiction. But book one's, it just gives you exactly how things went. And they were, it was just tough preparation, at least our days through the 80s for the patrols, because it wasn't just you gear up and head out. Oh my God, you had to memorize everything, stand inspections, and so forth. So, but go ahead.
Yes, Mark.
Have you come up with a name for book three yet, Mark? Or I know you just started on it.
Yeah, book three is called Facades.
Okay.
Unusual name, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Not for everybody. Everybody that doesn't know, our listeners of it, Facades is, the meaning means mask or mask.
Mm-hmm.
You wear a mask on your, okay?
Right.
The second book, I don't want to go into too much detail because I just started on it. I'm up to page 53, but it's, or 57. It's an espionage book involving the North Koreans, U.S. military, and American stateside, and corporations and some other folks.
Oh, I can't wait to get that book too. Because it was anything like Purpose 3. Yeah, I know that's a great book, and that's a must-read book.
I'm going to try and get it done. It's going to take me about a year, so I'm thinking like September, October this year, probably done, published now.
Right. Well, I know you.
What's kind of nice about the books, Levi,
right.
Mark is taking personal experience and mixing it in with the story. I mean, he's got a sense of, Mark naturally, like we do, know how things were happening and went in Korea. And in fact, he's taking some of the stories from Korea as me and him talk.
Right.
Taking some of the reality of, and I'm talking not just the DMZ, some of the dealing with people. And of course, he's switching up names and that, but it has some degree of truth to it of what went on. And of course, then, as Mark explained to me, it steps off quite a bit different down the road. But I see it being a fun book to read too, and from what Mark's told me of it privately.
Right.
So,
I try to mix the real reality with the false reality. That's what I'm trying to mix in there. So you guys that have been up there, you'll know.
Right. You'll know. And I know my buddy Garcia. I know he helped you a lot, on the book. And I know Garcia been talking to a movie producer too, trying to get a motion picture. Is that correct, Garcia?
Yeah, still discussions trying to find the right one. With the help of Lorraine, and she's a blessing to us.
Oh yeah, she's great.
And one thing that I'd like to kind of say about the patrols on the DMZ. I remember one night I was in the patrol out, and I went to talk to get our, you get your briefing, before you go out and call signs and all that good stuff. They told us, they told me that we're going to have these 4 guys attached to it. And I'm looking at the major, and I'm like, what? They told us, they told all of us, don't look at these guys, don't ask them any questions, don't talk to them, they're just going to the drop-off point, wait 5 minutes, let them get a 5-minute head start, then you move out. And these guys they were in dark fatigues, black fatigues, camouflage. But then again, they had weapons I didn't see. They weren't standard military weapons. They were pretty neat, but
Well, that sounds like Mark to me.
I guess they were ghost walkers. I don't know. That's what I think they were.
Hey, Garcia, that sounds like Mark to me. Mark could be CIA. Yes.
Well, I tell you, in reference to what Al just talked about, I saw truckloads of dudes walk into the DMZ. We were on a truck going through 128, and they were walking by us. But these guys were dressed in pimple suits with no identifications on them at all that I see. No rank, no name tags, no unit identifiers. And you're right, they had they didn't have M16s. They had all like their own personal weapons or something. And they walked in and they disappeared. We drove down the road and I kept an eye on them with the PBX-5s, and they just went off. Both sides just peeled off into the blue line.
Wow.
And disappeared. And they didn't say nothing to them. I saw them at Warrior Base, and they didn't say anything, and we didn't say nothing to them, and they looked like they were ready to kill somebody. So I just figured they're CIA or something. I heard rumors about ghost walkers.
Oh yeah.
From
I think
being people down in 8th Army where CIA folks were picking people in 8th Army to do these patrols, and I don't know how they work their program. So,
well, like I said before, last week, remember, you always had a Special Forces detachment that was assigned the Youngsan there, down at Youngsan in the 8th Army. And I had a friend of mine in the 90s who was, he retired from there and stayed in Korea. And, but Mike was part of the SF there. And, of course, we never indulged as, it always went. And, yeah, because I know Mike was SF then. And, but it just, that's something you didn't talk about. Like I said, that stuff kind of stayed hidden away down to Youngsan, where a lot of things are hidden away. Because I'm sure they came under 8th Army Command and only, so which you'll never find under a divisional command anyway with SF. They might be attached out, but usually they work for straight for command, upper command. Their assets for, in this case, 8th Army. So, but I think we all heard the rumors of ghost walkers, and especially around Panmunjom, because that's where we patrolled, was near Panmunjom, which was naturally the hotbed of the whole DMZ.
Oh yes, it were. That's right.
yeah.
So,
infiltration was right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I recall one night I was out there in the ambush. I think it was like my second patrol out there, third patrol being out there.
Okay.
And these were night ambush that we did. I never did daytime. I did nighttime.
Okay.
We got a call from Talk, a message telling us to be ready to give support to a small unit coming in from the north. So that instead of being an ambush position, we had to readjust to be a defensive position. And it was like that was really interesting. Because you're in a push position, then all of a sudden you got to readjust your man and get ready, because whoever's chasing these guys, North Koreans are going to be on them, and we got to be in a defensive position.
Right.
Yeah, you got to provide overwatch for them now.
Exactly.
And Garcia, a lot of people don't realize that we had soldiers on the DMZ going on patrols and out on the OPs. They don't know anything about it. They think we be joking about it.
Yeah, they think you're joking about it. They think that Korea, all they know is the war.
Right.
After the war, they think when the war ended, everything ceased in Korea. But actually, the war continued on. It just got covered up into that little buffer zone, the 151-mile buffer zone. What happens in there? There.
As I've always said, or I tell people, I said the major fighting stopped. The major fighting. But conflicts still continue, the small conflicts, as we know. And it's more of a defensive posture for us. That's why, you run your day recons, your night ambush, but we're looking for infiltrators coming in. We're not, necessarily, and that's our main function was up there. That's like Mark said earlier, is to protect the DMZ. We're there as a protective, to protect. And but, we're strictly defense for the most part otherwise. And, but I don't think people ever really get it, you know. And in fact, if you really think about it, we've been in defense mode in the DMZ since '51, even before the armistice was signed. Because when the Korean War happened, they moved up and down the peninsula, but I would have to get my exact dates, but by 1951, a year into the war, they pretty much settled there, and then after that was pretty much skirmishes along the 38th parallel until the armistice was signed in July 27, '53. So, even then,
when Levi was there, he was in it. They had skirmishes going on there.
Oh yeah.
I read a lot of reports from 68, 69, and 70 firefights that happened inside the demilitarized zone up between those two guard posts and patrols that were operating there.
Yeah, we had a lot of them too, Mark. You know, just like you said, we had a lot of little firefights, you know, and little crazy stuff going on in the Z. And
when I say skirmishes, I guess it was a little more skirmishes, because still, even up to 53, they were still using heavy weapons, whereby, you know, after 53, and for the most part, you know, was small arms and, you know, sometimes, bars after the war up to the M60s and, you know, so forth.
Well, we usually keep them hid. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know that? In the 78 when I went up there, I found out, you know, the battalions, the DMZ battalions, they used this deuce and a half, and they put all their cruiser weapons in the back of it and close it up.
Yes.
And they drive them to the guard posts and then unload them into the vaults. They got vaults, armors, ammo dumps underneath inside the bunker there. Mm-hmm. And we went into Olette one night and had it open, and I seen they had tows set up on the hill just for nods for capable to scan the air. But we went down there, and they had live ammunition for them tows, and they had 50s and 60s and all kinds of weapons in there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like I've heard, you know, people said before, it's amazing they call it the demilitarized zone and how much military you got within that, you know, that zone.
I was shocked when I left with my mouth open. The lieutenant closed the door real fast, and I just got a peek in there. But I saw crates of ammo, just stacked to the ceiling in this place.
Wow, it's a lot going. It's a lot going on because Garcia, Mark, and Thompson. I know when we had the M60 out on the OP. I think they call them OPs now. It was GPs when I was there. We had to keep them cover up. Had to keep a canvas on them.
Yeah,
because you ain't supposed to have no M60. You know, nothing like that up there. Yeah, there you go. So we had to keep them hid. But
I'll tell you how I know what happened one night. Mm-hmm. When I went up there the first 2 weeks after I got in up on the Z, I was with the 1st 17th. I was certified for patrol to be a patrol leader. I was the RTO. We were in front of Collier.
Okay.
One on the left. Okay.
Yes.
Between Taking Zone and Collier, and we engaged 3 North Koreans and guard post Collier. I think Tom's got a picture of that they posted on one of his videos. They opened up with a cruiser with an M60 machine gun, and we took 2 casualties in our patrol. They shot. We were fairly close to them. We were within 600 meters, and I think the patrol leader forgot to call them. He just went into the ambush mode and engaged. And when we started shooting, they started shooting at us. And I just put my head down in the dust and said, "That's a 60 machine gun."
well, you know, Mark, I read about that too because you know, a lot of it's unclassified now. You know, I'm always, you know, searching and stuff, and I seen that incident right there that you talking about. Oh yeah.
I was one of the ones I was in, and we got 3 North Koreans, but I mean, dude.
Right.
I was scared to heck out of 60. That's a scary thing when you hear it shooting at you, man.
Oh, there you go. With Garcia, how did you feel your first time on patrol? What was the feeling? What was your feelings? Was you scared or you hyped up or what?
The adrenaline was high. It was very high. It was scared, but I was mostly scared because I didn't want to fail my men.
Okay.
I know my partners, my fellow soldier next to me. I want to train you for the actual combat.
True.
But when you're actually doing the patrol, yeah, my eyes were wide. They're real wide. But you got to keep control of yourself and stay focused. And if you don't stay focused, that's when you...
Yes. Thomas, was something you finished that, Thomas?
No, I've just been coughing.
Okay.
I think part of it too with the Koreans, especially in the latter years after Vietnam, is and I've talked to other guys that the same thing as I did. Nothing, again, you hear about patrols from guys coming back, if you haven't been there yet, when you're getting ready to PCS over there. And I think once you even get over there, there's nothing prepping you to go to combat, really. Because, being I was armored cav most of my years, we did brief practice, various patrols of scouts. And, but to go out in the type of patrol we did there was nothing prepping you for actual combat. I mean, it really wasn't. It just pretty much, besides prepping the garrison, but it was an eye-awakener because it's like, nobody said you were going to war. When you went
and I can verify what Tom's talking about, because how many of you remember sitting in ambush at night and the rocks open like maybe 200 meters from where you're at and open up in an ambush? Claymores go off and they're firing the heck. You see the muzzle flashes and you don't know what's going on, because you got no detail about what's going on. I know Levi, you had to see some of that going on. I heard it in the DMZ.
Oh yes. A lot of that was going on. And I was in infantry unit anyway.
When I was there for a lot, you sit in ambush and all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, just boom!
And it gets scary. I was telling Garcia one time, too, we was out on patrol, and one of the Katusi went to sleep on us. They cut the Claymore wires and everything. They do all kind of little tricks on you. And that would be very scary, too.
Wow.
So, Garcia, how you
it's like
Huh?
A friend of mine who was in 2nd Tank back in '83.
Right.
He took his he was at that time he was support platoon in CSC and was 2nd Tank. And Davey he was telling me this a while back, a couple of years back, and we've been friends for a long time. But Davey said he ended up driving the scouts, scout platoon up there from 2nd Tank. And they asked if he wanted to go on patrol, so he ended up staying a couple of days and went out to, I think they did ambush first, I can't remember, but he went out with them, and overnight after the ambush patrol, I do know that, he said he came back, he told me, he said he'd never been scared in his life like he was up there. And he said they asked if he wanted to go out on another one. He said, no, I got to go back to Camp Casey. He said, He said, I didn't have to do it. He goes, one was enough to give me a rude awakening of what it was really like up there.
Right. Thomas, we talked about it too. I did do a little over a month in Nam, but I was the most scary. I was the most scary in Korea because in Nam, you got 2 or 3 or 4 people in the hole with you. But you all know, you all been on DMZ in Korea, a lot of times you're in the hole by yourself. And it get very lonely up there, and you start hitting the little cans right along the fence and everything.
Yep.
But it was most scary to me in Korea. And do you remember Bill Clinton said that DMZ was the scariest place in the world? Bill Clinton went up there and visited, when he was in office. But it's very scary up there on that DMZ.
I had an incident one time up there on Anderson Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Hill 5-6.
Right.
We were up there, right up towards the tower, just on the other side of that hill is the North Korean, the MDL line. Okay.
Yes.
And we were sitting in ambush, and 4 bodies came up over that hill, coming right at us. And they was walking and walking and walking, and I was looking at them with the PVS-5s, trying to make out what they were carrying. And looking, and we were locked and loaded. I took the tape off of our rounds, the tape off of our triggers, and we were ready to fire. Lo and behold, who is the Rock Army? I noticed they were carrying an M16.
Wow.
The Rock Army had drifted into our side and was coming right at my patrol, and its ambush patrol.
Wow.
And they walked right through us, and I let them come through us. Okay, I told them to stop. I had the Katuka tell them to stop, and they stopped. and then they explained who they were to him, and we let them come through.
Okay.
And they went back to the MSR. I think it went. They got lost. They must have been lost or something because they came from the North Korean side.
Right. Well, Garcia, when you was there, did you have to get permission to shoot back? I know we did.
Well, as far as permission to shoot back,
Mm-hmm.
the one incident that occurred is that we didn't have time to ask for permission. You were dodging bullets.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I know Mark probably seen a lot of report. Yeah, we didn't get permission, but we shot back, like you said, Garcia. And Mark, I know you probably seen some of them records that come in.
You know what I used to do?
What's that?
We used to go out. Don't take me as a bad guy, okay?
Yeah.
But we used to have to tape our rounds up, okay, and they would count them when we come back in.
Oh yes, I remember them days.
We would check our rifles, okay, our M16s. They would check them for carbon to see if we had fired.
Right.
But I used to, before we went on patrol, I used to take my snipers out, and I would night qualify them in the sniper behind Liberty Bell at the range.
Uh-huh.
And they give us the big unaccountable box or ammo can full of ammo, tracer rounds.
Right.
I used to put like 600 or 700 rounds in my pant leg. When we get out there, and when I saw something that looked fishy or funny, I'd let them shoot it. We'd break the weapon down on the poncho that we had and clean it all, so it would clean real good.
Right.
So it looked like we're fired, but if we hit that guy, we'd just call it in and say, hey, he shot at us, danger close,
Wow.
I'm not saying I was trying to kill somebody, but I mean, I just didn't like the idea of having all my rounds taped up. And then you got to go through a 3-day breakdown on what happened up there. They come up there and take pictures, where the rounds are exchanged and all this stuff, and then pictures of the body. And then you go to the S2, and they put you in these little cubicles, and they make sure everybody's story jives. If somebody doesn't jive, then something's up. So they think you did something wrong. And it's your fault. For fire.
Right. And that's the way it worked too. And
I know. I went through it. Okay. And then they give you 72 hours off before you go back on patrol.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they wasn't doing that when I was there, but that's what they started doing.
Yeah, they started giving you 72 hours after you shot.
And that's why I like talking to you guys, Mark and Thomas and Garcia, because I learned a lot more. Because I was just there 13 months, and y'all came after.
The thing is, we were there, quote unquote, in peacetime. You were there during the heart of Vietnam. So
yeah, you were there when it was hot and heavy. And I know that for a fact because I remember the archives at that brigade top. Tons of there had to be like 2,000 reports in there from 68 to 70.
Oh yeah,
that's the shooting incidents. Okay, so you were there on top and heavy. Right.
Well, what do you all feel about that some of the soldiers in Korea, they don't get the credit for coming up on DMZ. They don't show them their DD-214, and when they want to try to file for their Agent Orange, they say we need you need a buddy pictures, and all that. And a lot of times when you leave service, you don't know what happened to your buddy. I was the one, the luckiest one, because my unit was designated for the DMZ. But we usually get a lot of people from like South Thomas, like I was saying, come up on patrol also too. And a lot of times, they'll mix people up down south, with us. So I think that everybody should get full credit. For being, if you was in Korea, you probably gonna wind up on DMZ, and I know you're gonna catch some of the Agent Orange that was all over the country.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, they back with the Agent Orange, they've had their, what they omit to tell you, but they say, well, I guess they've had experts over there say, well, or people who think they're experts say, well, dissipated not long after it was sprayed up there. It's like, really? I said, I know they sprayed it like Vietnam. They mixed in a high concentration. They didn't thin it out like they were supposed to. As they mix a high concentration Agent Orange with diesel fuel.
Okay.
And of course, what's diesel fuel? It's oil based. I mean, it's oil based, not like gasoline, where it's straight. It's got oil in it. And so when they sprayed it with the diesel, sadly, once the diesel fuel mixed in with the Agent Orange hit the plants, it would hang on to the plants and kill it and not dissipate.
Right.
So, but
I want you to think about this. Go ahead.
What's that, Mark? No, go ahead.
I want you guys to think about Guard Post Collier Gillette when you walk up to it. You don't see no vegetation at all.
That's true.
That's Agent Orange, okay? And look at the South Barrier fence.
I was going to say, Mark, a good picture I like to use, me and Doug Ross talked about it, is the one with you. You guys are out with the Humber the one time along the barrier fence there.
Oh, yeah.
And there's nothing. And that's in the mid-'80s. That's 85, 86.
Yeah, it's nothing on that barrier fence.
Humber all the way down the fence line, no vegetation for quite a bit of distance.
Right. Oh, and Garcia, the Agent Orange, we was talking to. A lot of people don't know that stayed in your body for a long time, right, Garcia?
Yeah, because Professor Young, who did the testing for the government, confirmed that Agent Orange was staying in the soil for 100 years. The topsoil for about 50.
Okay.
Well, and also what they omitted a lot of that from what I read, being considered Korea, as we all know, is a monsoon country, heavy laced with rain and waters and mount underground streams, that stuff, once it's washed in the soil into the water tables can retain it even longer than the soil.
Right, that's what I heard.
The same very water tables that we got our bathing water from, our drinking water from, and so forth. And that's something you can purify all you want. You ain't gonna purify the chemicals out of it. That's what many of us argued. But yeah, how'd they keep the terrain so dead for so long?
Yeah.
And the other thing too, not just the DMZ with Agent Orange. Yeah, okay, back in the days, before weed eaters, did you see a bunch of Koreans going around all of the camps and cleaning the fence lines and guard towers?
Oh, yeah.
How do you think they self was used to spray around the fence lines, the camps, and the guard towers, to keep the weeds down. So what was used?
You're right. And Mark, what was your experience? What's some of the likes and dislikes you had? I'm gonna ask all that question.
Of Korea?
Mm-hmm.
Some of my dislikes was some of the people, and I don't mean this to hurt anybody, but some of the attitudes of some of the military folks that were over there. I'm here, I'm here, or you get the officer, I'm here, I went to school, I didn't sign up to come over here to do this. And then when they hit their 6-month mark, I'm short, I'm out of here, I'm going home. If war breaks, I'm getting in the Humvee and head south. Or I'm heading in the deep and head south to Osan. That kind of stuff rubbed me wrong. Now, I had my family, my wife's Korean, and my 2 boys and my daughter were all over there with me. And I was there to die in place to get them out of there safely. And to die in place for that country. That was our job, to die, If we had to put our life on the line to stop the North, then that was what we were paid for. That's what that volunteer army, we signed our name on there.
Right.
You didn't plan on doing that. Why did you sign your name? It seemed like everybody that I ran into, not everybody, but a lot of folks were into it for the personal gain. Well, I can get more rank out of this, or I can get more college education.
Yeah, school. That's right.
I can do this or that, or they weren't more interested in doing their mission over there.
Right. And as you know too, if you was on DMZ and had a war, we wasn't gonna make it back across the bridge.
Oh no, we were speed bumps.
Yeah, that's exactly what you were when you was up on that Z.
What's that movie called? Expendables?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Garcia, because Mark done blew up the bridges after so many times, so we don't make it back.
Well, all I can say is that when I was there, all of us on Greaves, we understood one thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no turning back. We knew that the bridge was going to be blown if anything happened. And our thoughts were that we're going to take as many as them before they get us.
Right, that's
That
true.
was our mentality.
Right. Well, Garcia, while you was over there, what's some of the likes and dislikes you had while you was in Korea?
Well, there's a lot of things I liked about Korea. One is the country. It's a beautiful country, and the people are awesome. But the one thing I did like the most is the fact that I had men that became my brothers. You know, you become a tight group.
You do.
Because, you know, you eat, sleep 24/7. You know, and you go on patrols, or if you're doing training together, you got it. Like I said, that's your brother. You know, I don't. At that, you know, for me, you know, I didn't care about what color they were, white, black, purple, green. Didn't matter.
There you go.
They're all the same. We're all brothers. I didn't give a damn.
Yeah, you're all brothers when you're over there. That's correct.
And the sad part that I had was that one of them was that when my platoon sergeant, Sergeant Anderson, was killed, you know, that not being able to say goodbye to him before he left, before they took his body. And the other one is when I turned my equipment in and my weapon in for the last time and getting ready to come back to stateside.
Wow. That's a lot. And Thomas, I know you had a lot of experience. I think you stayed over there 30 years, Thomas.
13 to be exact.
Okay. You know I had to mess with you. Yeah. Tell us some of your likes and dislikes about Korea.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Prior to dislikes was both times I got there in April, and just, you know, of course back then, and I couldn't answer that now, but back, you know, when we were still technically a third world country, the biggest dislike is when you got off that plane in April and they just fertilized the rice paddies. You know, otherwise they, you know, and of course people don't realize that most as we call hoot areas where the Koreans lived, because back then you didn't have a bunch of high-rise apartments, all that. You had hoot areas where, you know, older couple, let's say, might own the area, and it'd be like three, four, 5 houses in there. Well, it'd be one bathroom, and it's an outhouse, and many places had outhouses still, even up till early 90s, you know, and so they drain that stuff out of the outhouses, but you got the honey wagons, or honeydew wagons, as many of us call.
Oh, yeah.
And where that stuff goes is used for fertilizer in the rice paddies. And so when you get off that plane, and boy, the rice, they're just in the middle of planting season and fertilizing. As soon as you get off that plane, the stench there, you know, got to you. And so, you know, and of course you grew accustomed to it, but at first it's like, oh my God. Of course, back then, Kimpo was pretty much surrounded by rice paddies.
Yeah, it worked.
So, yeah. When you get off of Kimpo or Osan, depending where you're at, in my case, it was actually Osan.
Okay.
You know, but you get off of Kimpo or Osan or whatever when you're going over there. You know, in my case, Mac flights flying with him both times with the Osan. Of course, by the 80s, they already turned Kimpo over to the rocks. It was not used by the military at all. You know, so... but no, that's like the likes. I enjoyed, like Alfredo. I enjoyed the people. I enjoyed the culture. It's a old culture there. You know, you got a lot of historics to it. It just got to admire the Korean people. I mean, these people, for centuries, have been overrun numerous times, even up till, you know, the end of World War II, or the Korean War, I should say. You know, and this is a peninsula that's been overrun numerous times over time, and the people still survive. They fought and survived, and they still do. and of course war still hangs over the head, as we all know.
Right.
And so, but it's just they're great people, and I love the food. By the way, that's me too. I love my Korean food. So, but dislikes. I don't think I really have none. If I have to say I have one other, it's by sadly, but it's good for the Korean people. But sadly, the dollar's gone way downhill over there, and I know that. So,
well, Garcia, who manned the DMZ now? Is that the Rock Army? What's going on with that?
Well, South Korea has taken over it.
Okay.
So it's all South Korean military. I don't know who exactly is in charge, but no U.S. troops on the DMZ, except for like they're at JSA.
Wow.
And they're just for dog and pony shows, basically, anyway.
So that's so they man the GPs now, the Rock Army or the OPs.
Yeah, well, I know.
And the barrier fence too.
The little man on Latin call you for that. Well, you were up there, Tom. I don't remember. I thought those were U.S. men.
The Rocks were maintained from what I've seen, because I know when we were up at, and as always, I still get them backwards. I can't get it straight. But when we were up there last year, the Rock military Jeep vehicle pulled up. And of course, by then it was like I said, it was a blacktop road all the way up to the guard towers. Like, what was that crap before? But the vehicle pulled right up to the towers, parked there. So from what I've seen, it had to be the Rocks that maintain them. It might be through JSA, but even if you look at Panmunjom, the guys that stand guard on the at Panmunjom are strictly Rocks. Even though you got UN force presence in the area, it's the Rocks that maintain the guards, even on the building. I feel sorry for those guys. My God, to sit there with their legs spread and hands down, they're half looking on the building, looking over the north, and the other half's looking at the building. And I forget how long they're on duty for, but it's like, boy, I'm glad I don't have to do that crap. So, kind of like standing formation, for change of command or something.
Right.
Standing forever. But I would guess it's the Rocks. I mean, like when I was up there, because I went up, it was courtesy of the city of Uijeonbu when I went over last year for the 50th anniversary of 2ID's return to Korea. And, the only Americans we had, they were part of JSA, and I don't think there's 20, 30 more. We had a young private who gave us basically a tour. He was armed with a pistol, and I didn't pay attention with it. I know his pistol was armed Beretta. I don't know what you're going to do with that, by the way. But but past that, we had them up there. They're part of the JSA, Joint Security Agency, but I think the Rocks pretty much control it all. It's just UN keeps the presence up there because the UN still does the peace talks with the North.
So because I know we always had to wear the armband. You remember had the UN on there, DMZ police, on your shoulder. I remember that day.
The UN or JSA one they wear, and they didn't wear the DMZ police one, no.
Okay, that's what we wore. We had the DMZ, huh?
I got my DMZ armband right here on the wall.
Oh man, you need to send me a picture of it, man. I lost a lot of stuff. You need to send me a picture of that.
I gotta hang out there on the wall, and it's got a little Korea right underneath it too.
I need that. I know Garcia got a lot of stuff I need to get from him also too. You hear me, Garcia? Yeah. But yes, I like to get that too. Because I know we had to go out with them armbands on every time.
Mine did share like a lot of my other stuff with an ex-wife. So.
I
Right.
even got some patch for the Indian Scout Award too, hanging up on the wall.
Okay, yes, I lost that, certificate, the Indian Scout, and all that.
Well, I got the certificate.
You got what, Mark?
I'm going to say the patch you can still get. In fact, I brought a new one while I was over there last year. Mm-hmm. The one thing about the DMZ, the Rocks really have turned it into, and Mark, you've seen parts of it too, last year up there this past year. It's turned into a tourist trap.
Okay. What,
Camp.
wow.
What's that?
They got an amusement park right next to the MGM Got with rides and everything.
You got to be kidding. You hear that? You hear that, Garcia? Yes.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Right. Oh, Garcia, I had a question to ask you too. While you was there, I know you did a lot of night patrols. Did you ever have to man the barrier fence?
No, I never did that. That's one thing I never. I always talked my way out of that.
Okay. What about you, Mark?
my thoughts and feelings are is that that's a walking target.
Yeah.
What,
He's all right. I filled in for an E6 up there. Got sick one time. The first one asked me if I go up there and sit in. They were my chow out there for you for the night. Hot soup, and a bunch of bread and stuff. You go around the guy. You got two guys per host. You got two up the hill going to your left off the road there, and you got two more going to the right.
That's 123 to 1. That's what do they start from 123 or 128? I can't remember.
127 and 120, 128, 129. I can't remember now, but it's 127 and another number on the left, and then they go on the other side. They go down from 128, so it'd be 27, 29. There's not 130 out there, I know that, but they're 120 something there. There's some numbers on them.
Oh, okay.
I think I got a map here. I got a map of the DMZ here. It's probably got the numbers on them, so I have to look at that.
Okay. Hey, Garcia, I know when we was there, we had to do it all. We had to do the barrier fence, GPs, and patrol. Cause we was very understaffed then.
Yeah.
And hopefully your listeners will understand how serious our jobs were out there and how dangerous. I myself, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this. You know how you have the claymores in front of your fighting positions? For me, it was a lead. That's what I did all my guard duty on was a lead.
Okay.
Our lieutenant at the time, said that you got from battalion to check the claymore mines. That means going out, take the blasting cap off, and I had to weigh them. All the claymores that was in front of our position. And that was really fun, and it was not fun, and it was kind of hairy. Because I was thinking, please don't get no static over here. I don't want no static. That's all you need is a static shock to get that plastic cap to go off.
Yeah, and that's true. That's right.
And so I made everybody kick off. Like I had to take the watches off. I had an RTO there, but I had him away from me. I said, "You get your butt over there. I don't want you next to me." And of course, I had my security around me, but I kept them away from me. Every time I had to do that because they were updating the status of the claymores. Because if they were overweight, that means they got water in them.
Right.
If they're underweight, that means that it was tampered with. So it had to be replaced. But luckily, they were all good. They were within the limit. But it also didn't help when there was a North Korean patrol that came. This is during the daylight. Came up to the fence line to see what I was doing.
Wow.
Now that was a trip. Everybody else had a leg up, went on alert, and I told the guy that was at the foxhole. I told him, find the closest claymore to the patrol leader, and I instructed him. I said, if we stop receiving fire from these guys, that's the first one I want you to kill.
Okay.
So everybody was kicking in the boots, and we have washouts from the fighting positions. And I told the guys, I said, find that deep washout, and I told them, if they start firing, bury yourselves in there because the claymores are going off.
Right.
The form of protection that they're going to have, and the guys are looking at me like, are you crazy? And I go, well, either that or get killed by North Koreans was when he won.
Right.
So that was, see, this is something that is really, that made me grow up a lot right there. When I had to make a life and death decision, that I know I'm going to get killed once these guys start shooting at us, and I'm trying to protect my men while I'm out there. I got to find a way to keep them safe as much as possible. That was quick thinking, and this is something that when I got to stateside, that's how I felt I developed my spider system.
Okay.
Real quick decision making. I didn't hesitate. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Okay, so do this. Get the firing, back and going. It starts going off. The first one I want killed is that leader. That was my decision because I knew we were going to die if we get into a firefight because we're out in the open.
Yeah, that's true. Ooh. Well, this question for Mark and Thomas. Were they still rotating troops when you was up there, the infantry unit? Because when I was there, we do like 3 months up and 3 months down.
Yeah, they rotated. Units went in, and it had varied a little bit, but not much. But usually it was a 3-month rotation for the infantry.
Yes.
Now, like I was, what they would do, especially in the summertime, because every time I went up just for patrols, was usually in the summer, we'd go up, they would pull us from the cab, like 1st, 2nd tank, they would pull the scouts from there and send them up there for rotation on the DMZ. Also, besides at that time, cab, you only had one armored cavalry troop, which was close by. But the units would rotate also for QRF with armor support. So like 1st and 2nd tank, and Mark could probably explain this a little better than I can, because they were based out of house, but usually you had one company on standby in case of war. Their job was basically to block in the SAR-1 there. Highway 1, they went right by.
That's the old Thunderbolt.
What's that?
That's the old Thunderbolt Lightning mission. Was Alpha first tank or second tank was that house. And that special ops company that I was with, the top of the 38 tow guns, we all linked up together.
Okay.
Rolled north.
Yeah.
With our mission. Rolled north. Bunch of helicopters.
Well, and the air cav, like when I was air cav, we also had to do QRF. And I was in Bravo Troop in 87, 88 then. And until that mission stopped in 88 when the cav reorganized. But when I was in the air cav up till 88, through the 80s at least, the air cav troops, you got one blues platoon, one scout platoon in each troop. And so you would, we called it Quicksaver at the time. But you were on QRF. So you had, in each troop, you would have it every week. Well, and then you would have one squad, so every 3 days you'd be on, through the week, you'd be on QRF.
Okay.
Quicksaver. So you had one squad of scouts, 2 slicks, UH-60s by then, 2 OH-58 scout birds, and 2 Cobras were on standby 24/7. And but yeah, we always had, and I know my troop, the Bravo troop, our scout hooch was right next to the flight line, right next to and the arms room was right behind us. So we, when you're on QRF, we had to keep our gear packed up or ready to go down there in a moment's notice. No passes. Of course, those are the bases. We all knew passes.
Right.
No passes. You're stuck on post and weren't supposed to drink. Get stuck with the same warrant officers or Quicksaver, and they would feed you full of beer. But, and that was our mission. And, it was like I've said, probably something that bothered me more than anything is when you loaded up at 2 in the morning on a UH-60 with the rotors turning, and here you are, you've been called out in Quicksaver, and you're down the airfield, and you draw your weapons, you draw your ammo, and you're sitting on that bird. That probably scared you more, because it's like, what is 12 of us going to do?
Right. well, brothers, we almost about run out of time, but before we leave, though, I want to take my hats off to, Thomas, you and Mark and Garcia for, keeping the memory alive. And I also want Mark to explain how someone can purchase the book and everything. Mark, let them know how they can purchase your book.
Yeah, my books are sold on the internet everywhere. The books are available. And you can also walk into any bookstore and tell them the name of the book, call sign Purple 3 or DEFCON 4, or use my name, Mark Heathco Books, and they'll be able to pull it up on their computer and order the book for you and have it for you in about a day or 2 days. It should be there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, Thomas, when they get that, when Mark and Garcia get that motion picture, you think they're going to come pick us up in the limo?
Hey, we're gonna have premiere movie passes for everybody.
You hear that, Garcia? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey Thomas, we gotta be picked up.
I thought we got to take care of you guys. That's for sure.
Yeah, man.
Well, I told Mark he already owes me. I told him a week or two ago. He already owes me a couple of B's.
Right. well, you know, that book that made my life a lot better. Man, when my wife go to sleep at night, you know, I would get up at 2:00 in the morning and just read. But it brought back a lot of good memories, you know, and everything. I really enjoy, you know, Mark and Garcia, you know, putting this book together and everything. I really enjoy you cats.
Oh, I'm glad it did that for you. That's what the main purpose was, is to bring back the good memories. You know, I know there's some bad memories there, but, you know, the good ones should outweigh the bad ones.
Right. And, you know, at the radio station, that's what Thomas and I have been trying to do now. We're trying to, you know, let the veteran from Korea, you know, speak their voice. You give them something to talk to. Right, Thomas?
Yes. So, and, well, you know, and bring back memories, but also Mark Stewart to tell the story of what it was really like, you know, and because really, it's just the annals of history, like we've said before. You hear about the Korean War, but you don't hear about, you know, us being over there still. You know, even though we don't have the DMZ in this anymore 25 and a half years later, you still got troops over there.
Right.
You know, and so, you know, I was going to say earlier, now I just thought of it again, you know, I remember guys used to say, what's one division going to do against the North Koreans? Well, first of all, the Rock Army was probably better geared and ready to go to war than we were. But as I would tell guys, we are a foot in the doorstep there, in the door. Our job is to let the North Koreans know we're present. I said, we ain't going to be the old American troops fighting. I said, war, it breaks loose. They're going to be the point. We're just the most forward division there. We're there to tell the North Koreans that, hey, the Americans are here to support the South.
Right.
That's, you know, part of our mission, too.
I got asked the same question that, you know, Walmart one day. A guy come up to me, saw the hat I was wearing, and he goes, what's the one division going to do against all the North Koreans? I said, we're going to give them a hell.
All right. Before we go, Garcia, you like to give a shout out to anyone?
Yes, I'd like to do a shout out to all of our veterans that served in. It didn't matter what kind of war. We're all veterans, and a shout out to all our active duty personnel. Doesn't matter what branch you're in.
Right.
Much love for all you folks. And also our firefighters and policemen and our emergency EMTs and emergency response units. I want to say thank you for being there for all of us.
Okay.
And thank you guys. Appreciate you guys doing this show.
All right. And Mark, your shout out?
Yeah, I got a shout out for all the vets out there. You know, we all serve together. We're all vets. We all bleed red. We're all done it.
Right.
We're the people that set up. We've kept America free. We did it, okay? I'd like to thank them for their service, shake their hands when I see them. That goes all the way back to World War I, if there's any left. But we all did it. And I'd like to give a shout-out to Levi and Thomas Lunkin and Alfredo Garcia for helping me with these books and for promoting my books and for doing everything that you guys have done. You've been great. I really, really appreciate it. And that's near and dear to my heart.
All right. You're welcome, Mark. You know. Well, like you said, we brothers. We all gonna stick together.
Yeah.
Amen.
Well, also, another fourth person we need to
Okay.
is Lorraine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yeah. Special thanks to her.
Lorraine deserves a lot of credit. A lot of credit.
She's great,
Well,
Mark. She is great.
Yeah, she's been good about pushing the show and the radio station too.
Yeah, she
You know, on
is.
top of everything. She's real supportive. And so,
Yeah, she is
I think
great.
we all appreciate it. And, you know, sometimes, you know, you hear people talk, but, you know, oh, we got to take care of our veterans. But, you know, again, it's talk. You know?
Yes.
And so I think we're all very appreciative for what Lorraine's doing.
Yeah.
I think Levi, your show, I think is really a push in the right direction. I mean, a real good push.
Well, we know with your help and Garcia help, you know, and that's what we're trying to do. You know, we all get credit for it because we couldn't do the show without you and Garcia. You know, so it's been great, and I love working with Thomas. He's been showing me a lot of tricks, so you know it's been going great.
Alrighty.
Okay, hey Thomas, next week.
Great, fantastic.
Right, Thomas. Next week you gonna spread the word about what we're gonna talk about next week.
Yeah, next week, Bob Kern said he'd be willing to join us. Bob Kern is the author of the We Were Soldiers 2 book series. He's currently got 3 books out. The first one's based on his experiences in Europe during the Cold War in Germany. Book 2 is based on the soldiers' experience of soldiers who served over in, during the Cold War. Then his book 3 is based on the stories of those soldiers who served in Korea, mostly from the DMZ. So, and Bob is also working on 2 more books. So, but we're going to have Bob out. I know Mark has talked to Bob and is familiar with Bob. So, and of course, book 3 has been one of my pushes because it's actually about the DMZ. But we're going to have Mark on next week, and we hope everybody listens. Or not Mark, I apologize, Bob on next week, and to talk about his. And our mission here with the show is actually to continue pushing all veterans.
Yes.
You know, and we start off with DMZ because this is kind of new, and with me and Levi both being DMZ vets, and getting Mark on, was one of my priorities. So
and Garcia
and Levi's. So but that's it.
Okay.
Please tune in, and we'll be ready to go the following week with Bob.
All right. Well, you heard it, and